Welcome to BC Sandpile this week, and we are going to continue our exploration of potential platforms as we migrate off of Business Catalyst onto something else. This week we have RocketSpark, and we have Greg, Patrick, and Grant, who are here to show us what RocketSpark is about, what it could do for you as an agency, and assuming that there's time, and there should be, answer any questions that you might have. So take it away, Greg.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Hey, really appreciate everyone taking time, and happy to share RocketSpark and what we do. So just quickly, I wanted to give you a quick rundown on who we are. So I'm Greg. I'm the Global Partner Manager here at RocketSpark. And Grant will be joining the call as well as one of our co-founders and director. So feel free to fire your questions through, and we'll get to those at the end. So just to give you a real quick background on us, we started in 2009. The four founders still all work in the business, and we're completely self-funded. So we've been building and growing really organically over the last almost 10 years now. And our key focus is always ease of use for our partners, and I'll talk about who partners are for us, and also their clients. So we're really focused on that ease of use and making it simple for business owners to edit and maintain their website. Our main headquarters is in New Zealand, and we support New Zealand and Australia and the UK as our key markets. So we're down here right near Hobbiton, and we really like being down here and creating really great software that we can send all over the world. So just a real quick sequence of what we're going to do. We've shared a little bit about RocketSpark. We're going to talk about our design studio and our partner program, which is how you can manage your clients. And then we'll jump in and actually have a look at the system. We don't want to spend too much time talking about the specifics and just show you the system and what it can do. And then we'll do some Q&A at the end, as David mentioned. So who's RocketSpark for? In terms of partners, we work really closely with lots of graphic designers, lots of web designers, obviously, online marketers and social media agencies, and generally anybody who they want to do things really fast. They want to do things efficiently. Most of them in this situation for their clients, they don't want to code, and they are wanting to have something that their clients can really easily manage afterwards, so that their clients aren't dependent on them. In terms of clients, who works really nicely with RocketSpark, so building and construction businesses, professional services, accountants, lawyers and bookkeepers, online and retail stores, so e-commerce is built in as well, and restaurants, cafes and vineyards, and obviously there's lots of others as well. Those are some key markets that seem to work really nicely for RocketSpark and how the system works. So let's jump in and have a quick look at the design studio, which is how you can manage your clients. So this is our design studio. So you can see we've got a whole bunch of draft sites here, and then we've got a whole bunch of live sites, and then some archived sites as well. And so fairly straightforward. Tells us how we can start a new draft site, and we'll go through that process in a second. You can manage your team from in here as well. So if you've got team members, contractors you work with, things like that, as the master user, I can then edit the permissions for these people and just give them access to whatever websites they need to be working on. We've got some custom pricing here as well. If there's custom features, we've got some suggested add-ons for things that you might want to connect up with and things that we know work really well with RocketSpark. And then we've also got our whole designer support section where you can jump in and find all the answers to being a designer and a design partner with RocketSpark, as well as our full support center, which has all our how-to guides, things that you guys would be really familiar with. So let's actually jump into starting a site. So we can start a new website here. We can give it the business name, our very real lawyer, and the email address. And our name here. And then we can create that. And basically, this is now setting up that account on the platform and ready for you to then jump in and build. So it's really that simple. And once you're into the system, you can obviously edit and change all the things you're wanting to do. Here we've got our settings. This is where we can You can change, the details of your client. You can edit who has permissions right from here. You can log in right from here as well. You can change the client's password if you need to, things like that. We've also, and I'll share a little bit more about this, but you can actually lock down what parts the client has access to change the design of. So, basically the client can change the design or can't. We don't want them ruining your designs. So you've got that ability there as well. And you've also got a secondary level of locking down certain elements on the site for them as well. So, and from here, you can invite your client. You can invite them to look at the website as you're building it. You can invite them to log in and have a look around and make some changes, add some content or whatever. And then you can also invite them to upgrade. So you can do that there as well. So let's jump in and have a look at the platform. We'll jump into this site here. And so this is our dashboard. This is where you can this is the kind of the home page of the website where you log in. From here, we can edit the website and preview the website and all those sorts of things. And we'll come back into this left-hand side here. But let's jump into the editor. This is a WYSIWYG editor, and so let's start by looking at the templates. We start with templates, and everything on them is customizable. The key thing that the template sets is the menu, where the menu sits and where the logo sits as well. Everything else is customizable. So we've got a range of templates that all suit different industries, but obviously any of them can be customized to fit any industry as well. So now we want to obviously jump into editing the design of it, and this is where RocketSpark really comes to life. So we'll jump into our edit design section here, and the first thing we can look at is our logo and our menu as well. So you can upload a logo. It'll automatically detect the colors of that logo and give you color options based on that, and then we can make our logo bigger or smaller. If clients don't have a logo, you can just put text in there with their business name. We've then, we can choose fonts, font size, and font color for our menu. Set the hover state, set the current page color as well. So let's choose something a bit different here. And let's do the same for our current page. Go, and you can see that dynamically it's changing up here. Potentially we might want to spread this menu out or make them closer together, so we can do that automatically. This is our kind of header section here. We can position that where we want, and then we can position the menu separate from the logo as well. So sometimes you just need to tweak those sorts of things. So we've got those options there. At the moment, this header is actually overlaying an image, overlaying what we call our feature area, but we can set it to be above the feature area in its own section. And again, we can make that section taller and shorter and move our menu inside of there. And then we can actually drop it below the feature area as well if we wanted to. So really quickly, you can customize the look and feel of the template to be quite custom for this. Let's jump back into the overlay option. And often with an overlay, you'll need to put a little gradient on the image so that it stands out regardless of what image sits there. So you can set this gradient. So we could make it black or white or any color that we've potentially already used. And then we can set the height of that gradient and the opacity of that gradient as well. So you've got real flexibility to make sure that you're getting the design, that look that you want, but also that everything is viewable as well. We can jump into the headings and fonts now. So if we come down to this section that has some headings and fonts, anytime I hover over a different type of heading or font, you can see that it highlights that. And we can go through and set our H1s, H2s, H3s, font color and size for each individual element, and then our paragraph font color and size as well, link color, and then our content background. Now, this is all stuff that historically people would do with CSS. We're trying to make everything that is able to be done with CSS to be able to be done by end users. So that's where this becomes really powerful. And then in a minute, I'll show you some more powerful features that kind of take that to the next level. In terms of buttons, all the different button styles, and we can make them look however we want. with different fonts, different sizes, different colors. They all have hover states automatically built in as well. So there's lots of options there. And anytime I make a change here, it's going to change site-wide as well. The next option here is around social media icons. So we can show these in a range of different places, and we can have them look in lots of different styles here. So you can choose which color you might want them to be. Potentially it's a brand color you've already used. You might have noticed that we've got our recent colors here, and then these 14 colors relate to different elements that you've got. So you can always make sure you've got consistency of those colors. So let's make our social media icons blue. And then we can make them, we've got all these different options of how we want those to look. And all the major social media companies are set up there that you can have them displayed on the website. The next thing that's really common, obviously, is having a contact bar. So where you can put your phone number. So you can add that across. It drops on every single page so that you can have those call to actions from anywhere on your site. Again, change the font, the color, and what content goes in there as well. And then we can left align it, center it, or right align it as well. So that's there. And then we've got our footers. Footers are about to get a little bit of an overhaul, but at the moment you can set the footer menu, font, color size, and colors as well. So I'll just cancel those changes, and at any point you can cancel that, go back to how it was when we first got the template up. Let's just jump into the editing now, and this is where the magic happens. So this is our feature area, as I mentioned. We can upload a new photo, replace photos that are there. Let's replace an image that's here. And there we go. So we're going to replace this image. We can then reposition it to show different parts of it if it's a taller image. So let's focus more on the shoes here, and we'll save that. It's automatically going to drop it into this slideshow rotation here. And you can see we've got this heading here, Scenic Helicopter Tours. I can reposition that wherever I want in here. Automatically change, how many lines it drops onto, whether it's left aligned or right aligned, and position it where I want. So that's really quick and easy to do. Potentially, we might want to add a little blurb underneath it. So here's our blurb, and that follows the same thing. So if it's centered, it's going to be centered, left align, right align, all for consistency. And I can change the number of lines we've got there. We can also add a button to go to a certain part of our page. So maybe we want this to go to our tours page, and here's our button ready to go as well. Now we can obviously change the styles of all of this right here. So text styling is probably the main thing. We can obviously set the heading, font, color, size. Sometimes we need to add a bit of a drop shadow onto it so it really stands out. We can change the opacity of that drop shadow. We change the color of it, the horizontal and vertical location of it, and also the blur that sits on that as well. We can do the same for the blurb that sits on the bottom. And we can also put, if we needed to, a background just behind the heading, or behind the heading and the blurb, or behind the heading, the blurb, and the button. And then we might actually want to make this rounded corners as well. So we can do all that directly in the editor here. You can apply these changes to just one page, or you can apply it to every page on the website as well. Sometimes you might want to put an overlay on it. Once you've got this, the overlay sitting up the top here, you can't add it to a new slide, but you can obviously do that when you don't have this header overlay option. And we can change our button styling here as well, separately from the button styling that we've set for the rest of the site. So let's save those changes, and then let's come down to our text editor here. So everything is drag and drop, auto resizes as I move it between different sections, which is really nice and simple. Any editing, we've got a pencil, a moving icon, rubbish bin, garbage can. We can edit that, change what it says, and automatically it it's going to change straight away. If we're moving photos, we can just drag it into a new section here, and now it's resized to fit that section. I can obviously resize that again, and I'll show you that in a second, but it's all really responsive in terms of how we're editing it, and it changing automatically, which is great. So let's jump into pictures now. So if I edit an image here, I can just drag this and resize this image to the full width of the column. And then I can zoom out and zoom in on an image. And once I've zoomed in on an image, I can rotate that image around and put it wherever I like. It's a really nice feature to be able to edit images, and for end clients who potentially don't have photo editing software, they can do it all right here. Potentially, I don't want it to be a circle anymore, so it matches the rest of the site, so I can make it into a square. I can put a filter over top of it as well, so that it's black and white, and then put an opacity. Let's just change this to another color. So I can put an opacity over top of it as well. If I want to put a border around that image, I can. And so it's just a really nice photo editing. Makes it really quick and easy to get the look that you want, and the shape and the style. And if I want to remove those effects, I can just remove it, and it goes back to just a standard photo. So I can play around and see what I want to get out of that image. If I want to replace an image, so I've got an image there and I want to replace it. When I replace that image, it's automatically going to fit that size. We do all the compression of the image, so make sure we store the highest resolution version, and we're only going to show the end user what they actually need to see, which makes the pages load really fast, and also makes the experience really good for the user, so that they don't have to upload a new photo when they move it from this column into a wider column here. It's going to automatically resize and still keep a really nice high-res version of that image. Here we've got 3 images side by side, so let's jump in and make a change to this. So you can see we've put text over top of that. So every image, if you want to choose to, you can put text over top of it, and then we can change the position and the style of that. So you can see here you've got a whole range of different options on how we want that to look. So let's jump into this one here. We've got the text as white, which we're going to need to change because it's now sitting underneath the image, not on top. So we can change it there to black. Again, we can change a whole range of things in here, what the text size is, the fonts that are being used, and the alignment of that text. But once we make that into a link, then we can do other things as well. But if I want to now make all of these look exactly the same, I can just go apply to all the other pictures, and it's going to instantly make those look exactly the same. So really quickly you can change a style of something, and then you can make that affect every image in that section of the website. So the next thing I just wanted to quickly show you is around what we call stack-specific styling. So you can see we've got these different sections here. So this is this top one is a one-column section. We call those stacks, a one-column stack. This is a 2/3 and 1/3. We've got a 3-column stack here, and then we've got a quarter, half, quarter stack. And so each of these stacks is individual, and so actually each stack can have its own styling. So what you can see here, we've put a grey background on this stack here that has the 3 images. So if I now jump into our individual stack styling, you can see that for each stack, I can change the background color of that stack, or I could actually upload a picture that's going to sit right across the screen. I can set whether it's going to show the top, the middle, or the bottom of that image, and then I can actually make that image slightly opaque as well. So you can really quickly get that full image look, and you can edit, the image itself. You can put that opacity over top of it, and then you can set the individual heading styles for that. which I'll show you in a second when we go to a stack that has headings, the individual button style, and then the spacing. And the spacing is probably one of the things that our partners like the most, where they can just really quickly tweak the internal and the external spacing of that stack and give it a bit more padding around things or things like that. At any point, you can reset individual elements to their site-wide default. So if I go back to defaults here, or I can reset all of them as well. Let's cancel out of that. And when we come down here, you can see we've already got a stack background image that shows up over this section. But we've also got headings. So this is as we hover over, we can see what type of heading it is. So yep, this is an H2. And so we can now change the H2 heading. And so let's change it to something quite different. Here we go. Let's change the font size. We'll make it quite large. Cool. Now, what we've done is change this in this one specific stack. So we've changed the font and we've changed the font size. But if we go back now to the site-wide system, so let's jump back into site-wide and edit design. So this was an H2, and we changed the font and we changed the size, but we didn't change the color. So now, if I change the color of our H2s, this H2 is going to change color. But because we've already changed, we've specified we want it as a different font and a different size, if I change the size of this H2 across the site, it's not going to change this one, but it will have changed the other H2s. So we can, you can make changes to a specific stack, just make a little tweak to it, and then when you come and change the site-wide later on, it's not going to affect that particular stack, but it's going to affect only the elements that are not kind of broken away from that stack design. So that's a really nice feature to be able to quickly make changes that aren't going to affect things that you've done specific design tweaks to. I'm just going to cancel out of this and we'll jump back into our stack-specific styling. And the reason the stack-specific styling is really important is if I add this image here, if my buttons were white on the rest of my site, they wouldn't be able to be seen here because of the background. So we want to be able to give it the option to change that. So here's our button styling. This is just for this one button on the site. So maybe it's a different call to action that we want, so we can change it to look quite different. So let's cancel out of that. And one thing I wanted to point out here, if we've got two stacks, we can obviously move those and just drag and drop them into different parts of the site. And we can also then change the type of stack that we've chosen. So at the moment, we've got that quarter, half, quarter, but I can jump into here and say, actually, I want it to be 3 even columns, or maybe I want it to be 2 columns. And then I can, drag things around, make a change, and the styling of that stack stays exactly the same. The other thing you've got is a padlock icon. So you've got, as I mentioned before, 2 levels of being able to lock it down for clients. And so what you can do is you can turn off these edit design and edit templates. You do that in your design studio where we were before. But then you can also lock this stack. So this stack, I've made a lot of changes to it, and I don't want the client to delete things in there and make changes. So we can lock that stack. And what that does, you can see when I'm in here, I've got edit, I've got moving, and I've got delete. And if I just jump across to this site, I'll just refresh it quickly and scroll down, this is what the client would see. So this is if the client's logged in. You can see they've got a padlock icon here, so they don't have all of those same editing options. And also when I hover over, I've only got an edit pencil, which means that if the client wanted to, they could change what this says. So we could say make a booking now. And that's changed, but they can't change the look and feel of it. And from a design point of view, that's the key thing. But you can see this stack here, we haven't locked it yet over in our other window, so they still have all of those design options. So some of our partners like to go through and lock everything. Others just lock specific things that they've put a lot of work into or have really custom elements to it as well. Let's just jump into our next page here, and I'll just show you from building from scratch. So that other page already had content on there, but in terms of building a page from nothing, you can see that it brings across the same menu look and feel, brings across that opacity, has a photo that's automatically there. Just like before, we can edit that photo, replace it, add new photos. Let's add another one here so it becomes a slideshow. So here's our other photo, and we'll make sure we see the top of that. And then we can add our headings and our blurbs and our buttons as well. So we'll save those changes. Then when we come to the content part, we can add a new stack, and this is where we can choose what we want that to look like. So there's all the different options of stacks that we can choose. And so let's choose a 3-column stack here, and then let's start adding some text. So we can add a text block. This is one of the first things. And then we can add some text in here. It's going to pull all the stylings that we've already set. We can add a picture. So we're going to upload that. It's automatically going to fit this, this column width. We can edit that just like we've been doing before, cropping it, zooming in and out, and moving around what part of the photo that shows. Save those changes. We can add an H1, so a big heading. Underneath this, let's now put a button. So a button can say whatever we want it to say, and then link to a page, another website, a blog post that we've written, a product in our shop. Let's link it to a page here. There's our button. We can now add an email form, and we've got a form builder built in, so you can really easily create new forms, or we can choose a form that we've already got here. So here's my form asking for a name, email, message, the location that this person's come from, and then there's a landing page, completion page as well when you submit that form. A video, so we can add videos from YouTube and from Vimeo as well. So all we need is the link, and drop it in, and then it pulls that through, cuts out any ads, cuts out any of the, after you've watched the video, maybe you want to watch these. Obviously, we don't want people disappearing off the site, and you can watch it directly in situ there, or you can expand it to be full paid, take over the full window as well. If we just look at the final things here that we can add, so you can add a Google map really easily, and you can be as kind of specific or vague as you want with where you are. We can put a file for people to download, and it always matches the styling of our button, and can change what that says, and it tells the end user what type of file they're about to download, which is really helpful. You can add a blog post. So here's our most recent blog post that we've written. So we can drop that in there as well. A product from our shop. So I've just got a sample product here. It's going to pull across the image and the price and that sort of thing. Click through and then ready to buy. Code block HTML, so you can drop in any widgets, anything like that. You can code up kind of what you like in those HTML blocks. A Facebook feed, which is fairly standard, and a Twitter feed if you have that, and then add your social buttons there as well, ready to go. So those are the block options that we have. Now, if we then want to change this into a 4-column stack, you can see that everything's going to resize and automatically fit that section. And then if we change it to something quite different, everything's just responding automatically. And then I can also drag our video and change the size of that as well. So watch it in full screen, do whatever we're wanting to do there. So that's probably most of the editing of that. We can jump into a mobile preview of what that looks like, and experience it on a mobile, and any changes we make are going to automatically appear on mobile as well, and we can jump through each of our pages and check it out from there. And a few other things that I just wanted to show here. We'll just jump back to our desktop. Some of the other stack options that you have. So we can add an Instagram feed. And one of our new things we just launched is our blog slider. So this is bringing across all of our most recent blog posts here. And we've still got those same kind of stack-specific styling options for our blog posts. So we can see here one of our blogs names is quite long, and so that kind of makes it look a little bit messy. But if we jump in and change the font here, so let's drop this down to something a bit smaller. Now it's much more uniform across the blog slider. We can change all the colors and fonts and that sort of thing. Probably the most powerful feature here is actually what content shows. So maybe we don't actually want to show the date, and maybe we don't want to show a blurb. We just want to show the title of it. Potentially the images, maybe they're not consistent enough, so we might actually just want to use it as a text slider here. So we can customize how that looks, and then we can click through all of our different articles that we've written. We throw 12 articles up there, as in the 12 most recent. But what you can also do is set up some tags inside of your blog for different topics or categories, things that people are blogging about, and then you can just show certain tags on there as well. So it's really powerful to be able to create quick links through into good content that you or your clients are creating. So yeah, so the key thing we want to focus on is ease of use. That's always our key focus. We want it easy for you to use and easy for your clients. And that's the feedback we get from our partners is the ease of use just makes it quick to build websites. It makes it easy for the client to then edit and, as I said, not be reliant on you, but you can actually get a really nice customized look and feel on the site. A little bit more about our partner program. It's free to be a partner at RocketSpark. There's no time limit on our trials, so you can set up as many trials as you want and play with things, try things, mock up a few different designs for clients, whatever you want to do there. And then we actually pay a commission back to our partners. So the end users, end clients normally pay RocketSpark directly. Most of our clients just love the simplicity of that billing, so they pay us directly, and then we pay a commission back to our partners. That can be anywhere from starts off at 10% of the monthly subscription and works its way through to up to 30% of the monthly subscription. E-commerce is all built in. I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but it's all sitting there ready to go. We integrate with accounting systems like Xero. We integrate with point of sale systems if people are selling retail. We connect in with all the major payment gateways. We connect up with lots of other things for our Australian clients with ZipPay for the buy now, pay later schemes. For our New Zealand clients, Lay-Buy, with a whole range of other systems as well, email marketing, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's all I wanted to cover today, and keen to answer any questions. One thing I will drop into chat is, and one thing I didn't mention actually, when we first started RocketSpark, we used to use Business Catalyst, which it was actually pre-Business Catalyst, so it was Goodberry back then, and we actually used that ourselves, and that's what actually inspired us to build RocketSpark. One of our directors, who wasn't the most tech savvy person, he was like, I can't use this, so that kind of inspired us to build RocketSpark. So a little bit of our history, but I'll just drop into the chat here a blog post we've written about Business Catalyst and how we might be able to help. One of the questions I've just seen is around migration tools and services. Yeah, absolutely. We're looking to build something that's going to actually help migrate Business Catalyst sites across. So if you're interested in that, the thing that would help us a lot is in the blog article I've just shared with you, there's a little expression of interest form at the bottom. We'd love to kind of get a gauge of that. And then we're going to look to build a Business Catalyst specific migration tool so that we can migrate over as many sites as you'd like, and kind of take all the heavy lifting out of building the RocketSpark. So cool. So I can see there's a few questions here, so I'll just run through them. Let's go back to the top here. Cool. So social media icons, so sharing pages, yeah, not at the moment. So that's purely, it's just to link through to those social media accounts. And the contact bar doesn't float on the top of a mobile website. That's an interesting thing, actually. Yeah, I'll feed that back to the team. Thanks for that, that's great. Animations for feature area elements, something we're looking into. Most of our clients want something that's clean, simple, easy to use, and so we haven't gone down that track yet, but it's definitely something we are looking into. You can have a separate, so Ray, you can have a separate heading, blurb, and button for each slide of a slideshow. Let me just quickly show you that. So at the bottom here, you've got an option that says use same text for all slides, or you can use a different one for each. So then each slide has its own heading, blurb, and button option. So hopefully that answers that question there. Mary, so the stack styling has priority over global styling. Yep, absolutely. As I showed, it'll break away a certain element of it. So it'll just break away the font size or just the font color, but it's not going to break it away completely unless you make a change to all those three elements of a stack. Some praise here for the locking feature. Yep, most of our partners like that they can lock their clients out. If you don't want to, some of our partners, they don't actually give access to their clients to edit the sites at all. And that's purely because they might have them on a retainer, or they might be doing things for them regularly, and so they just do it all for them. Totally fine, not a problem. We do feel that the goodness of RocketSpark is because clients can easily edit it and that sort of thing. So yeah, but you don't have to give them access as well. Cool, filtered blog posts, we talked about that, so that's great. Yep, so can you include a slideshow, in the slideshow, the top selling products? Oh, okay, yep, Patrick, so I get that. So yeah, one of the things we're looking to do is set up a product slider. So basically, and something we can do as a custom feature, where you can have your top selling products being able to be shown there as a slider, so that people can see those. So yeah, something we're definitely looking at, and also something we can do as a custom feature as well. SEO features, good question, Craig. So if we jump in here, we've got a Get Found SEO section where you can set up title tags, description tags, and keywords for each page of the site. We obviously do everything in the background to make it as Google friendly as we possibly can, and we're always making sure that we're improving page load speeds, all those sorts of things with our image compression and that sort of stuff. We want to make sure that that's done really well as well. So always looking for more things we can do around SEO. Obviously, so much of it now is content-based. That's really important. But we have all that SEO functionality there, and we alt tags on images as well. You can do all that sort of thing, and we are always trying to keep on top of what's going on with Google, their algorithms and that sort of thing. And we're looking at doing some cool things really soon around some SEO wizard to help clients to be more effective with their SEO. Members only areas, we can do members only areas. We actually do them as a second website. So we set them up as two websites, and we can set up an email and password login over top of that, rather than just specific pages. It may be something we do bring in where we can restrict certain pages, but at the moment we do those as a second site, and then do them as a 50% off. 50% off the subscription of that second site if people are needing those member area login. Anthony, there's no plans at this stage for a white label option because two reasons. All our partners, they like people knowing that they have the backup of RocketSpark to support them. We see it as a partnership rather than just using the software. It doesn't mean that it won't ever happen, but right at the moment, it's to be honest, we're really proud of what we've built here. We think there's real value in it, and so we aren't white labeling it at this stage, but we may head down that track at some point. And I think I've mentioned around options available to BC partners in terms of migrations and that sort of thing. Event registration processing fee or free processing. We rely on most third parties for any of that sort of thing. So any booking system, things like that, we look to third parties. There's on our add-ons page, which you can get to from the design studio from in here. We've got a whole range that we like to refer people to, things for e-commerce, things for forms, complex forms, email marketing, donations, booking, CRMs, all those sorts of things. So that's where we tend to head for those sorts of things. Question around web apps. As no doubt you've found during this whole process of looking for other options for Business Catalyst, web apps is a really complex thing. We've had a quick look around what it for you guys, what were the key things that you needed it to do, and we're trying to work through how we could best do that. So at the moment, there's not really that similar functionality, but it could be something that we look into. Servers are located, so we've got servers in each of our key markets, so in New Zealand and Australia and in the UK. We host all of our clients locally, so that increases speeds and there's a SEO option, SEO kind of benefit there as well. Subscription services, Mary, we're literally working on that right at the moment. So we're about to, the guys are designing that and we'll start building it around selling subscriptions with recurring payments. So we're looking at that. Google Analytics code, Kathy, so right in the dashboard here, if we jump back to our dashboard, once you've upgraded, it gives us an option here of setting up Google Analytics. Basically, you add in your UA code, connect it up, and it's good to go. It's tracking all the time. It sets up a graph with just how many visitors are here. And most of our clients, that's all they care about is how many visitors they've had. But then you can obviously dive into analytics for more detailed. Craig, so email accounts, we can absolutely, we do emails as well. We host all of that through Rackspace, does all of our email hosting, and we can do domain name hosting as well if people want. It's probably 50-50 of clients who do and clients who don't. Sometimes people just like everything being in one place. We can help with that. Other times they want to keep it all separate, totally fine as well. Pricing, Ray, probably the best thing to do is to jump onto our pricing page. So if you go to rocketspark.com/pricing, I'll drop that into the chat here for you. That'll give you the pricing. It does vary a little bit from location to location because we like to give pricing in the specific country that we're working with. So I'll drop that in there. And there we go. And that'll give you an idea. Future roadmap type of what's coming in the future. We do have that internally. We don't have that client facing at the moment. It's something we're literally having discussions about at the moment, whether we should. I can give you a real quick rundown on things we're working on right at the moment. So that subscription, recurring billing we're working on for e-commerce. The other one is copy stacks. So basically a stack of content that you might want to show on multiple pages or on every page of your website. So we're working on that, and there's some really cool stuff around being able to have a stack where it might be on multiple pages, but the design is linked, but the content is separate. So you can change the content, but if you change the design in one place, it's going to change across all of them. Or you might have the content be the same across multiple locations, but actually have the design look different. So, or you can just say, I want this stat, copy it to this page, and then I'm going to make it look quite different and change it and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's one of the features we're doing. We're also linking up, connecting with TradeGecko, which is a great wholesale and inventory management system. So we're connecting up with that so that wholesalers can sell wholesale and retail, sell retail on their website, sell wholesale through TradeGecko, and build a really nice solution there where all the data flows really nicely. And we're also working on a new blog homepage design as well. So we're just giving some options around what the blog looks like. Payment gateways. So we use Stripe, PayPal, eWay, Payment Express, DPS. And then in some of our markets, so New Zealand, Australia, we have a buy now, pay later, Zip Pay and Laybuy, and we have bank deposit as well. And David, question about accessibility. Yeah, so not sure around keyboard only or screen reader access. I'd need to look into that. If you want to flick me some examples, I can have a look at that for you and come back to you. So there's nothing specific that we've done around accessibility, but just in the last few months, we have had a few more people asking about that. So that'll be something that comes up on our radar, definitely. We're very much feature driven on what feedback we get from people. So if there are key features, we'd love to love to hear your feedback around that. And because you guys are so experienced with lots of platforms, and especially Business Catalyst, any feedback we love to be able to get that and kind of improve our product. That's one of our things we love to do is give our clients what they're asking for, but give it in a way that is actually what they need, not necessarily just what they want. So yeah, I think that's all the questions that we've got through. So if anyone's got anything else, I'm happy to answer that. If you are interested in just looking towards the future of what we can do for Business Catalyst partners, then please feel free to sign up to that in the blog. Obviously, no commitment, and we're very aware as well that RocketSpark isn't going to suit every single client you have. We know that the types of clients that it works really well for, and the size of businesses and all that sort of thing, the functionality needs. So so absolutely, we're really aware of where we fit in the market, and we don't pretend to be anything we're not. But if you've got any feature requests, we'd love to get those as well, and love to help out if we can. A few more questions just come through. Any access to HTML code for pages? So what you can do inside of our Get Found SEO section, you've got the ability to add tracking codes and things like that to the body and to the head of all the pages on the site. We don't have the access to HTML and CSS for individual pages, purely because most of our partners don't actually want that. The reason they use RocketSpark is because they don't want to access the HTML and the CSS. If people need that, that's great. There's lots of great systems out there that will do that, but most of our partners don't really want to go down that track. Google Recapture available for forms, Patrick, I assume you're asking. So at this stage, no. We have a few other things we do around making sure to stop spam coming through. If we haven't had feedback that the forms have been getting lots of spam, but if they do, then obviously we'll look towards that. And Craig, CSV uploads for blogs and products. For products, yep, absolutely. Inside of the store, you can do that. There's a CSV upload option. You can download a template of what it needs to look like and re-upload it. With blog posts, not at this stage, but that could be something we look at adding. We can do that internally. So if you've got hundreds of blog posts that you need transferred across, let us know and we can look at that for you. And Mary has a question around a photo gallery. Mary, this is one of those situations where I start to squirm. Photo gallery is something we haven't done a lot on in recent history. I will show you it because we don't like to hide anything at RocketSpark, but it's something that we do need to fix. So here's our gallery. We can choose our photos. Let me just drop a few in here so we can get a good view of what this looks like. Most of our clients don't use our gallery tool for this. They use a few other things, and I'll give you a few examples of what you can do. So here's our This is obviously the editor of it, but we can add a caption to each of those as well. And if we close the editor, you can see here's our gallery, and people can click through and view their photos. So it's fine, does its purpose. It's not as beautiful as we would like, and definitely not as simple as we would often like. The way that most of our clients like to do galleries nowadays is by doing a stack. So I'll just quickly throw this together, and then making them pop up on click. So I'll show you how that works. One here. So here's our images. Lots of our clients will like to do them in a mosaic kind of form, so that they're all different sizes. You can obviously, one thing I didn't show before actually, it'll snap to fit to match up with a photo next to it, so you can make sure they're all nicely lined up. And then under the link option here, I can go enlarge and pop up. And once I've done that for all three of these, then once I jump into preview mode here, I can then click on these here, and up it pops in a pop-up. And then I can scroll through them as well. So scroll through the images that are in that stack or on the page that show. So that's one way that people do photo galleries. We do have a slideshow stack as well, where you can, let me just quickly load this for you as well. So here's our slideshow stack. We can upload a few photos here. We can reposition to show which part of the photo we want to show in the slideshow stack. Just upload one more. We can make each link on that slideshow, each image on the slideshow go to a different location as well. Let's close the editor. And so there's our slideshow stack ready to go. So it scrolls through. So there's a few different ways that you can do galleries. This is something that especially our design team here at RocketSpark is very, very conscious of and want to do something better. A few options we're looking at is a slideshow, a gallery stack that will go full width of the page, and you can choose how that looks. So there's a few different ideas floating around here with the team. One last thing I just wanted to show you is around just this manage pages area. So really quickly, these are the pages that show in your menu. If I don't want them to show my menu but still be live, I can just drag them, drag this line up and down, and then that limits the number of pages that are in my menu. And these pages are still on the website but just hidden. Then you can add new pages, and it's unlimited number of pages that you can have. And also one of the nice things being able to copy a page really quickly, change the order of those pages. So if you want to change them, that's nice and quick. Change the page name. The other thing that sometimes you need to do is link a page to go to the blog, the shop, or another URL outside of your website. You can do all that as well. And recently we've just added these URL redirects. So this is 301 redirects that you may need to set up. The other thing you can do is change the page name. So this page in the menu is called Tours, but we might want this to actually be Helicopter Tours Brisbane. And now from a Google, the URL itself, if I jump into this tours page here, we can see, let me just back up here. You can see that the page name is now Helicopter Tours Brisbane, but in the menu, it's called Tours. So that's some really nice features there. Cool. Hey, thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Ray, for that nice feedback as well. Glad you like it. We really focused on ease of use and simplicity. We want it to be really simple for people. So hopefully, if it's something that you think for some of your clients, or for a range of your clients, we'd love to have a chat. As I said, I'm the global partner manager, so my job is looking after our partners. You can always book a call with me. I'm happy to jump on a GoToMeeting or on a call and just answer any questions and take you through that process. And then our support team are available as well. Oh, one more question here from Craig around drop-down menus. We don't do drop-down menus for a few reasons. It's not something that we, from a usability point of view, we don't love drop-down menus. There are cases for it, and we're looking into how we can do that best. But at this stage, we don't do them as a standard feature. Yeah, we can do them as a custom feature if needed to, Craig. But most of our clients are saying actually they don't like how the usability of them is on touch devices and all that sort of thing. So at this stage, we're not doing drop-down menus. Thanks, Mary, as well. Thanks, team. Have a great rest of your day. David, thanks so much. Really appreciate the opportunity to share what RocketSpark's all about.
No, you're most welcome. That was super interesting, as you're seeing in the feedback. And, you know, for a given part of the market, it certainly seems like an appropriate tool. So awesome. I'll keep the room open here. If you think of a last question or two, we can just leave it open for a couple more minutes here, and then we'll close it out. But thanks very much. Just a reminder, I sent an email out today, but there will be no Sandpile next week. I'm taking a little vacation, and we don't have someone who can manage it, so we'll pick it up where we left off the week after next.
There's just a question here from Mary. If no drop down, how do you show other pages? Generally, the way that our clients and partners do that is with text links, buttons, image links. You know, you can link images off to other pages, things like that. And so they will often they often do it that way. To be honest, as well, most of our clients, most of the sites we work with are fairly small in terms of a number of pages. Most of our sites sit somewhere between probably 5 and 15 pages. So the navigation of that they do using text links and things like that, or often all of the pages are actually in the menu as well. So hopefully that explains that, Mary.
Cool. Well, if that's it, I'm going to pack it up here. There will be a recording, which I'll, of course, put in the meeting notes. Should be there by about noonish tomorrow. If you want to rewatch anything, and if you have any questions, maybe, Greg, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'll drop my email address into the chat here. So, just greg.wallace@rocketspark.com.
Perfect. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good day, evening, night, whatever time it is where you are, and we'll talk to you next time.